Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the next episode of Coffee Talk with Brohawk. And today I have an amazing guest today, uh, Katie Mayers. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be a guest on this episode of Coffee Talk with Brohawk. And Katie, can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what you do and what have you been up to recently?
Yeah, for sure. So, hi, everyone. My name is Katie. I am a best-selling author, an international speaker, a customer experience consultant, trainer. Some may say I'm a customer experience expert. I focus highly on the female consumer. So, my book is called Custom Her Experience. And I've studied the physiological differences between men and women and why we buy versus why they buy. And I help organizations cast their experience net wide enough to capture the world's most influential consumer, the woman. I also am the founder and owner of Ladies Take Control, which is an online community that is growing to inspire women to find the courage to do hard things, to speak up, to stand in their power, to raise their hand, to build the table. And also during dark times. So, how do we find that courage when the going gets really tough? And so that is, in a nutshell, a little bit about me. I'm a mom of three, and I travel a ton, but I'm also super, super involved with my kids.
That is awesome. Katie, you have done a lot over the years, and um, I know we've had some really good conversations recently about your personal journey to where you are today. Can you give our viewers just a high level overview of your journey and what does the term resilience mean to you?
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, my personal journey is a bit nutty. I am a domestic abuse survivor. I am about 5 months out of a relationship where I had every form of abuse done onto me, physical, mental, emotional, financial. Actually, when he threw me away because he broke up with me, um, he froze all the bank accounts. He froze the credit cards and told me to go sell my body for groceries because I'm good at it. So that happened about five months ago, and I'm fighting right now to get my I've invested in one of his businesses, so I'm fighting for that money back. But literally, he left me with nothing. So 5 months ago, I had a very huge house that I had to pay for. That we signed a lease on together. That he, you know, I gave up everything. I wasn't working. I was working for him. So I got out of the relationship with nothing but debt and a lot of tears and no career. And within the last 5 months, I have built a new organization. We've had Ladies Take Control, where we have had one online event where we had 250 women 5 weeks after he broke up with me. We had some of the most amazing speakers to pour into these ladies. The next event is actually on June 14th. The first event was paid by the tickets were for sale. Now the tickets are free because I know I don't have $20 to rub together or $50 for a ticket. And my mission is to inspire women to find that courage to do hard things. And how could I do that and ask them to pay for it if I couldn't? I built Ladies Take Control, and I'm building Ladies Take Control for me. It's something I wish I had, a resource that I had. And, there's 1 in 3 women are in a domestic abuse relationship. And so that equates to 131 billion women in the world. So, yes. And 77% of those women stay silent. And I refuse to stay silent. And I refuse to to not shine a light, to let at least be a beacon of hope that, they're not crazy and they're not alone and there is going to be a community. And so we're also building an app right now that is going to provide professional, personal development, masterminds, as well as resources. So the app will be for every woman that wants to grow and develop. But it will also be for those who are struggling and need the resources and need that inspiration to get them through to the next day. Because let's be real, that's sometimes how it is you just need to get through that moment. And for
Mhm.
me, that's what resilience is. Resilience is getting to the next moment. When we hear these amazing speakers speak, or we read all the books and we read all the content on social media, and we listen to the podcasts, resilience seems like it's this big feat, it's this big journey, and you're only resilient if you make it in the end, right? You create a big splash, and oh, that girl, because that's the one that gets on stage, right? That's the one that fought through everything and now has this huge following, and she or he is resilient. Resilience to me is the small moments that you win every single day, the small moments that you choose to win every single day. So, you're down and out, or something bad has happened, or you got passed up for a promote, whatever it is, the resilience is in that moment where you decide to to keep going, one foot in front of the other. Resilience is the next step. That's what
Yes.
resilience is to me. And it's far more achievable than what we see online, or what we see at a conference, because we are far more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. Because we don't need to do big to be resilient. We need to do the next thing to be resilient, because then that next thing leads to something. And these baby steps of resilience that we're taking leads and adds up to the big thing, whatever that is for anybody. But resilience is the small little steps. And so I took small little steps, and I'm taking small little steps every single day to, have my career back, to gain my sanity back, to heal myself, to help women, and to make a difference in the world. They say, that saying, an overnight success is 10 years in the making, right? Like you don't see the mess, right? You just see the straight line, and all of a sudden somebody pops up and it's like, oh, he or she is successful. Look what they did. But what you don't see is the mess and the craziness that happens behind the scenes. But all of that were baby steps of resilience that got them there.
Yeah.
And so I truly believe that resilience is something that we all do every day, and we just don't take credit for it.
And part of your journey um has been giving yourself, if I'm understanding correctly, it's giving yourself permission to celebrate those small wins, those small
Oh, yes.
successes, you know.
100%. Like 5 months ago, towards the end of the relationship, I was celebrating, like I was so depressed. I was suicidal. I had suicide ideations. I I would be driving a car and thinking, if I just drove into oncoming traffic, it would all be over. Like those are the thoughts I was having 5.5, 6, 7 months ago. I had to celebrate, and thankfully I had access to therapy. So I had to celebrate getting up, brushing my teeth, eating something,
Hmm.
showering. So it's giving yourself permission to be positive and to celebrate those tiny wins, because those are acts of resilience. Because you could choose not to shower. You could choose
Hmm.
not to eat. You could choose to stay in bed. You could choose to cry all day, which is all fine every once in a while. Don't get me wrong. But you also have a choice to choose to do something different. I have the saying that you have to find purpose in the things that you can control. You
Hmm.
can't always control the hand of cards you're dealt, but you sure as heck can control how you play them. And if you can
Hmm.
find purpose in what you can control, then resilience becomes easy, because you've got something to push you forward. For me, my purpose is to speak up, to silence the unsilenced, to unsilence the silenced, sorry,
Yeah.
to shed light, to help a woman. Even if I just help one woman,
Mhm.
then I can control that, and I can control what I do every day.
That's awesome. Uh, you know, Katie, I mean, when we've talked off camera, before about certain aspects of your journey, and I mean, just how that relationship ended, and the things that were said. As a guy, I cannot fathom that. I can't fathom saying that, and I would imagine that um, part of your journey was understanding who your allies were,
Yeah,
and who your
my
supporters
community.
were.
Yes.
Yes, and that's so important. I think as you were going through making the decision um, to be resilient. How do I trust again? Who do I trust? Um,
Yeah.
were those key components for you?
Yeah. So, and I am going to be, I'm proud to talk about my faith because I'm on a faith journey, since all of this went down. But the first person I fully submitted to, I fully leaned on and put my faith in was God. That was my
Mhm.
first source of community, and I thought to myself, if I can't trust Him, then I can't trust myself. I can't trust anybody, and so I not that I didn't believe in God beforehand, but I was at that point where there was nothing left for me to do other than to fully lean on that faith and that hope that he's got me because I
Mhm.
wasn't strong enough to have myself. And I had to lean on him. And it's been the most amazing journey because God has brought me the community that I needed, that I can trust, that is there for me, because
Mhm.
they started showing up as soon as I put my faith in him. These people started showing up in my life where I was like, wow, like
Yeah,
wow. And without that community, without those people, without our heavenly Father, I would not be where I am here today at all.
that that's excellent, and fully support you from afar, for sure. Um, so what you kind of touched on this a little bit, as a mom of three kids. That's definitely part of your why. But
Yeah.
how would you share that? What is your why? Why are you so passionate about this? And we're at a time that you could be really selfish and say, look, I'm just doing this for myself. But what is your why?
Yeah, so my why is sort of evolved. I don't have a professional why and a personal why. I have a why, but my why for as long as I can remember was to inspire positive, actionable change in every interaction that I have so that those that I interact with are better off for having interacted with me. I've always wanted to leave people in a better place with more information, feeling happier, smiling more, laughing than they were before they interacted with me. I felt like that was always, if I did that in life, then I was golden. And I mean, that's how I built my career. I built my career on creating special moments, right? With the customer experience. It's all about making that customer and the employees feel special, to feel better. So my mission, whenever I'm, out serving one of my customers, is to make them feel so great that then they are able to put that onto their customers. But
Yes.
as I have evolved and as my life's experiences have sort of been thrown my way and some of the obstacles I've had to remove or jump over or crawl under or whatever you want to call it, however you want to say I navigated those, I really realized that it's more than a why now, it's calling.
Mhm.
And my calling is to inspire women to be able to have the courage to do hard things. So whether that is to, raise their hand in a male dominated space because they believe that they're worthy of that promotion, or whether or not
Mhm.
it's, a woman looking to apply for a job and, she doesn't feel like she's 100% qualified. I want her to have that courage to do it scared anyways, and know that she's got the ability to take the bull by the horns. Or if it's that woman that is, fighting the fight that I had to fight every single day, finding the courage to even look at herself in the mirror and say, I'm worthy of more. I'm going to be okay. For my kids, I pray that my daughters see, listen, I know what life looks like if I give up, right? I know what it looks like if I give up. I want my daughters to see what it looks like when I don't give up.
Mhm.
And I want my son to see his mom work so hard to come back from nothing and know never to treat a woman in that way and just be nothing but proud of his mom. I don't want my daughters to ever be in a relationship. So I'm very open with them. They know everything. I'm very, very open with them because I want them to see the signs. They've listened to my podcast. I talk about everything with them because I want them not to I want to break the cycle.
Mhm.
And I want them to have the courage to say no, to leave a relationship when it's bad, to leave a job when it's bad,
Yes.
to to do what they need to do to have a fulfilling life for them. And for all my kids, it's literally to show up and show them what it looks like not to give up.
How to be a good human
Yeah.
and to surround yourself with other good
Yes.
humans
Yes.
that are going to continue to lift you up. And
Yes.
for your son to view his potential partner as a partner, and
Yes.
and at the foundational level,
Yeah.
partners.
Yes. Yeah. So
Um,
my why it's evolved. But now it's more than a why, it's a calling.
I love that. I love that. We've started off on some really deep stuff, so I want to kind of pivot a little bit
Yeah.
to some of the work that you've done. And you talked a little bit about understanding the female consumer.
Hmm.
And when we talked about this, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. That's really interesting for me, because everybody has a persona about them, and uh, you know, understanding the female consumer persona is so important because I mean, more than 50% of buyers are female. So why is it always seem to be marketing targeting groups other than that? So what are you seeing organizations? Where do you see organizations missing the mark when it comes to um, female consumer?
Well, they just don't look at her as a market segment. You
Uh-huh.
know, they don't understand, they don't understand her influence.
Hmm.
Women influence $43 trillion of worldwide spending annually, and that money worldwide, but that
Hmm.
money and that amount is going to continue to grow as we make more money, as we open more businesses, as we become more influential. I mean, essentially, we're the world's economy.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so just even understanding her impact, and it's more than just that individual impact, it's
Mhm.
the impact she has on 3 to 4 generations of future buyers, her
Yes.
kids, her sisters, her brothers, her nieces, her nephews. She influences all of those buying decisions. Friends, I've told this story so many times, but it's indicative of a female's influence. But a friend of mine took her son grocery shopping, and her son is a good friend of my son, and so they come over all the time for meals. And they're going down the grocery aisle, and her son stops her and says, "Mom, wait, stop, that's what Katie gets. I want that." I can't remember exactly what item it was, but it's a brand that I carry all the time in the house. When the boys are over, they open the fridge.
Uh-huh.
My fridge is their fridge, my pantries are their pantries. They just go in
Yes.
as if they're my kids. And they she went and bought it. So the influence on that child from being in
Mhm.
my home sold that brand, and the mom
Yes.
said yes. So the
That is
influence
awesome.
right? The influence a woman has is far more than just spending her own money she makes. She
Uh,
influences the mother of her kids' friends
yes.
money and what brand that they make, that they choose to spend their money on. And so I think the first and foremost is organizations, male dominated or not, don't look at the influence women have. I mean, we follow influence marketing more than men. We are online more than men. We are the ones that write the surveys. We're the ones that care about the experience. We're the ones that say yes or no, even on big ticket items like purchasing vehicles. We outbuy men. 60% of new cars are bought by women. 86% of all vehicle purchases are when in a coupled relationship is influenced by women.
Hmm.
So it just spans. I mean, we are the travel agent, we are the chef, we buy the groceries, we are the chief medical officer, we make the dentist appointments, we pick up the prescriptions, we decide. Really, we have heavy influence in how we invest the money, what banks we're banking with. I mean, she influences every aspect of the economy,
Yes.
and nobody, not a lot of organizations looks at her and says, "Oh, wait, maybe I'm missing out on something." So
I
that's where
love
the issue lies.
I love that. And we're not just talking about in North America either. We're
No,
talking
everywhere, worldwide,
worldwide. Yeah.
worldwide, worldwide. Even in third world countries, or even in typically, male dominated, women may be at home, but let me tell you, she's, that's that saying that the man is the head, the woman is the neck, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
he might be the one out there signing the checks, but she's the one saying yes or no, look this way, look that way. No, I
Yep.
need you to pick up this. No, we need this for the house. Oh, I like this brand of vacuum cleaner over that brand of vacuum cleaner.
Hmm.
Or whatever it is. I'm generalizing right now, but no matter where you are in the world, a
Hmm.
woman is going to be the one that influences the spend.
Yes. Yeah. I know in my household, I I have horrible taste in things, or at least that's my own self-perception. And
Yeah.
so, regardless of what we're purchasing, it's like, all right, what do you think? What do you think? And you know, as a partner, you value that relationship, and that input. And uh, I would say I always lose, but sometimes I'll get a quick win. Um, so
You win because she's happy. Either way, it's a
yeah,
win-win.
yeah. What's the saying? Happy wife, happy life. But
Life, yes. It's a real deal.
it
It's a real thing. I'm just telling you.
is.
People who read my book, so I've studied right down to I couldn't be a woman that's going into these male-dominated industries saying, "We are just amazing. I am woman, hear me roar, so you've got to read my
Uh-huh.
book." I mean, it wouldn't stick because my book is written for men. It's written
Yes.
for the male dominated spaces like automotive to read it and better understand women, the male leaders to better understand why they need to focus on women. Women get a kick out of the book too. We all learn something new, but it's basically written for men. And I knew I couldn't write the book unless I backed it up with facts. So it's
Yes.
very scientifically researched. Like I studied the physiological differences. So the way our brain is broken down, and I talk about the brain function and how our neurons wire and what parts of the brain we communicate with and don't communicate with. And so I break it down to a scientific level because it is fact. It's fact that well, we influence more and we are amazing, but there's facts on what makes us different. And so
Mhm.
when you read Custom Her Experience, it isn't just a I am woman, hear me roar. It is no, there's a reason behind it. There's a
Yes.
reason she likes this versus a man. And when you're a man and you're designing an experience, you're seeing it through one lens. And the way I like to preface it is when you create an experience for him, you
Hmm.
lose her. When you create an experience for her, you don't lose him because he really doesn't care that much. He doesn't
Yeah.
pay attention, doesn't notice. Like it's not the way your brain is wired.
Uh-huh.
But if you build it for him, she notices. She
Yes.
will get upset. She'll turn away and walk away. She won't do business with you. So you're
Uh-huh.
better off casting your experience net wide enough to capture her because you will also capture him. But if you just, capture him, then you're losing the world's most influential consumer.
I love that. Love that. So professionally, what do you see as the biggest challenges female professionals are experiencing or seeing in today's job market as compared to when you first started off in your career? I know we talked a little bit about the consumer, the female consumer, but what about the female professional? Um,
Yeah.
what are you seeing?
So that's a bit of a touchy subject because I have almost a bit of a different view. I think we should be removing gender, you know, the gender worry, at least from a female perspective, because I believe that our biggest obstacles are ourselves. I
Hmm.
believe that, you know, there's a stat, the 60% stat is that men will apply for a position if they a promotion, a position, a new job, if they feel like they, hone in on 60% of what's the qualifications are asked. Women won't raise their hand, jump in, apply unless they feel like they're 100% qualified. So I think while there is 1000%, women have obstacles, men don't. I'm not discounting that. That is so true, from microaggression, aggressive sexual harassment to inequality, unequal pay, and it gets worse for women of color, right? Like it's even more difficult for women of color.
Hmm.
But women have these. But what we also have, and I'm going to go back to, we talk about resilience and we talked about finding purpose in what you can control. We can't control an industry. We can't control a human. We can't control a leader. But what we can control is how we show up. What we can control is looking at that job opportunity that a man would see and say, you know what, I believe enough in myself. I'm going to raise my hand. We can control we won't reduce our fear because fear is a real deal, but we can control if we find the courage to move through it and do it scared anyways. We
Yeah.
we can control that step of resilience that we take every single day. And if you fail, you learn instead of looking at it and being scared of the failure,
Hmm.
saying, okay, well, I'll get back up and I'll try
Yep.
again. So I think when it comes to
Yeah.
women in the workplace, while all of those obstacles are 100% valid and they
Hmm.
are there and they are real, why are we waiting for those things to change? Let's make the change.
Yes.
Let's raise our hand. Let's build the table. Let's jump in with 2 feet. Let's find that courage. Let's take that step of resilience, those little wins, and then let's celebrate it and make another step of resilience and celebrate it. Let's believe in ourselves. Let's work together as a community of women to have what we want, what we deserve, whether it's in life or in business. I just don't I We'll be waiting forever for equality to happen if we don't start closing the gap.
And it's funny. My wife me this saying. Um, she uses all the time, with me. When we first started dating, she's like, I don't need a man. And we've taught my daughter that. I'm like, do you need a man? No, I don't need a man. And you know, basically what the premise of that is you don't need somebody to help you make a decision, to financially support you, to do anything. You have it in yourself to be able to be and um, as successful as you want to be. Um, and it's what I'm hearing, with what you just said is, yeah, you don't need somebody else telling you what direction to go. Um, you can make your
Yeah.
way. Just have confidence in what you do have, what you do know, what you do bring to the table, and don't focus as much on what's not there.
Well, so
Um,
you're always looking at a set of obstacles or a set of opportunities, right? Like you're always faced when you're faced with a choice, it's either you see it as a hardship or you see it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to overcome. And so just really the only person that gets to choose that is you.
yep,
And I can speak from experience. I went from, making multi six figures, having a very successful organization. I didn't need a man. Like I didn't at all. I was able to do all of
yeah,
that. And then I go into this relationship where all of a sudden I'm isolated and I give everything up and I needed him. I
yeah.
needed him. I didn't know I couldn't make a decision for myself and my life depended on it. Coming out of that, I really realized the power that humans hold. I mean, women especially, but we are capable of so
Mhm.
much more than we give ourselves credit for. We are capable of that resilient story if we so choose to write that chapter. And it's a choice.
Katie, I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. Look, this has been a great conversation. You and I could talk for hours.
Ever.
I know that.
For hours.
Yes, and from the first time you and I met, and I think we were able to go ahead and just dive into some
Yes.
really cool conversation really quick, and I appreciate that about you, and you know love to see how you're going to continue to um, create Katie 2.0, 3.0,
We're always
in the
evolving.
future.
There's never a
Exactly.
finish line.
Exactly. Exactly. But we've gotten to the point of this conversation. I call it the speed round. Are you ready for
Okay.
this?
I am ready. Let's do this.
Excellent. All right. So, as someone who had, and you have had a very successful professional career over your years working, um, I'm particularly interested in learning about your thoughts on this stage in your career. I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, how would that have helped you navigate your career, change the trajectory for yourself? How would it have made a difference for you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's kind of like a two-part answer because I always answer with the self-worth piece, whether
Yep.
I'm giving my advice to my younger self or if I give my advice to, for my career, if I had known this,
Uh-huh.
you're worth it. Like you're worth it. You're worth your dreams. You're capable of it. You don't have to believe or think anything else other than you're worth it. And if you want it, take it. You can do it. But the piece to that to make that happen, and I've only learned this really recently, is you've got to be your authentic self.
Mm,
Because when you try to be something you're not, it never works out.
yes.
And going back to the worth and why the two go hand in hand, if you love yourself and you believe in your worth, then you should just show up authentically you and know it's going to work out. And you're going to ruffle feathers and you're going to
Mhm.
make some enemies, and that's okay. Not everybody needs to be your friend, as long as you're
Yep.
kind, as long as coming from a with a with a servant heart and you're kind. But show up and be you. You don't have to be the person you see on Instagram or LinkedIn or um, read in the newspapers or watch on TV, because God made you. There is 1 in 43 trillion chance that another you is going to be replicated. So
Mhm.
stand in your authentic power and know your worth. Because at that point, when you make decisions, when times get hard, you know you're walking the right path. and you don't give up.
I
And then
love that.
that resilience, because success or excellence is on the other side of I don't feel like it or I want to give up. And when you're solid in who you are and you show up as authentically you, who God made you to be on this earth,
Mhm.
then it's easier to keep walking that path of excellence. So you're not on the other side and, having failure.
I love it. And even recognizing that some failure can be very positive.
It's so good. I mean,
Yeah.
I have this mantra that I use, and it's gotten me through the last 5 months. Only good can come from this situation. Only
Hmm.
good can come from bad. Only good can come from good, but only positive things, only good can come from this. And that's what I tell myself over and over again with every failure, with every door slammed in my face, with every looking at my bank account going, oh my gosh, I hope I have enough to put groceries on the table for my kids. You know, only good can come of this. And when you see it in that way and you believe in yourself and you show up as authentically you, the path becomes way less bumpy.
I love that. I love that. So, what fun fact about Katie would people be surprised to learn about you?
I love to fly fish.
No way.
I love to fly fish on salt water. That's one thing my previous relationship gave to me that's super positive. I learned how to
Uh-huh.
fly fish and I traveled the world, and fish live in cool places. I haven't
Uh-huh.
been fishing in a while, but let me tell you, that is a hobby that I will continue as soon as I can get my bearings where I need them to be. But oh yeah, I love
Excellent.
to fly fish.
I love it. I love it. Um, so at the end of a day, at the end of a stressful day, what's your go-to tactic to just kind of unwind?
Well, when I have my kids, it's usually on the couch with my kids. I don't watch a lot of TV, so it allows me
Uh-huh.
just to be present with them, and if they're watching a movie or whatever, it's just to be present with them. But mostly the gym. The
Yep.
gym, exercise, and at the end of the day, I start my day and I end my day in prayer. So, the beginning of my day, I mean, I spend about an hour reading scriptures every morning. I pray every morning and I pray every night. So, and I start in gratitude and end in gratitude. So that always brings me back and sets me up, because there's always something good we can see.
I love it. I love it. Um, I love this conversation, Katie, and I know you and I are going to have more and more of these, going forward. Just been an amazing guest today, and I really appreciate it. If someone wants to pick your brain, wants to learn more about the work that you do, maybe you're going to be at a conference or something. Um, how could they get in contact with you aside from me just making the introduction? You
Yeah.
know,
So I mean, you can email me, katie@katiemares.com. Super simple, super easy. You can DM me on Instagram, Facebook. But yeah, just reach out to me in any way possible. If you go onto my website, there's a spot there to sign up for a newsletter that I send out weekly. It's called the Power Series, and it's just free information. I don't sell in my newsletters. I just give information away. So don't worry, you're not signing up to be sold or pitched or anything like that. But if you want sort of a little peek into my world and the things that I'm reading and doing, then sign up for the newsletter. But yeah, just email me, DM me. I answer everybody's questions.
I love it, and you've been very gracious every time I've reached out to you, uh, I really appreciate that. And um, Katie, again, I cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your schedule to be a guest today, and I look forward to getting you on a webinar in the future.
Yes,
Uh,
100%. I'd love that.
Excellent, excellent. And so, anybody that's watching this, if you want to get in contact with Katie, pick her brain a little bit, feel free to reach out to me. Katie is on, like she said, Instagram, Facebook, definitely
Facebook,
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yep, definitely LinkedIn. That's where we've had several conversations as well, and so just spending 5 minutes talking with Katie is an amazing
Oh,
conversation, and you will definitely enjoy it. So, Katie, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and look forward to future conversations.
thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.